Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So in my recent video where I reviewed Xerjoff Italica, I also mentioned that I received quite a lot of samples from Xerjoff, and in addition to that, I already had a number of their samples and asked you if you were interested to see a review on all of those fragrances. And many of you said yes. Thank you. So of course I'm going to do that. And the way I'm going to do this is as a house collection and overview. So I have 6 full bottles of Xerjoff fragrances, and I have, I believe, 14 different samples. So we're going to talk about 20 different Xerjoff fragrances today. And because there's so many, I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. I'm not going to read out all the notes, just sort of the main notes and what it smells like to me and if I like it. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So as I said, I currently have 6 full bottles, and I am sure that this number will grow in the future because Xerjoff is one of my favorite houses. All of the fragrances that I have, I basically talked about in numerous videos already, so I'm gonna go through them very quickly. First one, of course, which actually was my first purchase from Xerjoff, this is Lyra, and this is, of course, a beautiful, sweet lemon dessert. That's what it smells like. Second one that I have is Bouquet Ideal, and the first 3 I'm going to show you, like I said, are from Casa Morati line, and they're all 30 ml bottles. So Bouquet Ideal is spicy, slightly smoky, sweet vanilla. Beautiful, beautiful scent, especially in the cold weather. And the third one from the same line is Gran Ballo. And this one has honeysuckle, there are other florals, there's caramel, there's vanilla. And to me, it basically smells like sweet honeysuckle. It is light, it is inoffensive, very girly, very romantic type of scent. Of course, you know that very recently I finally acquired Lyra, and this is also from Casa Morati line, but this is a 100 ml bottle. And as I mentioned in my review of this fragrance, mostly what I get out of it is almond, toffee, and milk. So it's like eating some kind of dessert, maybe a cookie that has almond and toffee in it, and having it with a glass of milk. It is a beautiful, beautiful gourmand fragrance, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have it in my collection. There are 2 more full bottles that I have, and they're from different collections. And to be honest, I know Xerjoff has a number of different collections or different lines. I don't know all of their names, to be honest. So the next one is Cruz del Sur 2, and this one is 50 ml. So this one is kind of a very strong fruity explosion. It has mango in it and it has guava. Many people say that this is all about mango, but for me, it's actually mostly about guava. That's the fruit that I get most of all. And then it has a very strong milk note, very strong. So this is highly lactonic. So it's like having a fruity milkshake. That's the vibe that I get from this one. And my last acquisition, which I just shared with you in a haul, is Naxos, and this is a huge 100 ml bottle. This one has honey, tobacco, lavender, cinnamon, and it definitely has an aromatic vibe at the beginning, and then it transitions into this beautiful honey with a touch of tobacco smoke. Really, really beautiful, especially in the dry down. Very addictive fragrance. So this is the last full bottle for now. So now let's start going through all the other samples that I have. So first, I'm going to talk about 2 samples that I've had the most and tested the most. First one is Dolce Amalfi, and this is also from Casa Morati line. I already sprayed all of these samples, and I think I finally sprayed them the right way. Not that it makes any difference. And this one is interesting. It is sort of sweet, but I would say it is not very gourmandy. It has quince, it has spices, it has vanilla and saffron. And I'm definitely getting a lot of spices, but they're not very strong in this fragrance. There's also quince in here. There's definitely vanilla. It is sweet, but not too sweet. Overall, I keep sort of going back and forth about this fragrance, deciding, do I need a full bottle? Do I not? It's a beautiful fragrance that I love, but it leaves me slightly underwhelmed. There is something about it that I find a touch boring. Nothing really stands out to me about this one. So that's why I haven't purchased the full bottle yet, and I'm not sure if I will. Next one is a very popular Xerjoff fragrance. That's Orba Pura. And this one is a very strong explosion of sweet, musky fruits. It is very fruity. It is very musky. It is very sweet. And it is very, very potent, very strong fragrance. If you have tried, I think it's called Amber Oud Gold from Al Haramain, which is kind of a dupe for this fragrance. Yes, they're very, very similar. So Erba Pura is a beautiful fragrance, but it's a statement maker. It is very potent and very powerful. But for those that enjoy sweet, fruity scents and not afraid of a strong fragrance, this is a great one. Now let's talk about 3 iris scents. So I have 3 samples from Xerjoff that center around the note of iris. The first one is Apollon. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one because I just talked about it in my February favorites. So if you want to see details about this one, definitely check out that video. But very quickly, we have orris in here, we have musk, and we have white florals. And to me, this fragrance is stunning. It is beautiful. It is so light and so elegant. But I would say it is more about very gentle type of musk than it is about iris. Yes, iris is a little bit there, or orris, you know, it's, to me, that smells almost the same. There are some light white florals, but mostly it's about musk. And it is a beautiful, beautiful scent that comes in a stunning bottle. Unfortunately, longevity is really bad on me. It becomes a skin scent very, very quickly. But overall, I really, really like this one. Next one is called Ibetira. And this is also about iris. So we have iris, white florals, musk, and vanilla. So as you see, the notes are very similar to Apollonia. I mean, we only have basically additional vanilla here. I mean, there could be a few other notes. Like I said, I'm just mentioning the main ones. But I would say these 2 scents are very different. This one is stronger, it is sweeter, and this one is definitely about iris. There is a beautiful iris in here, which is a note that can be tricky for me. I don't like every iris, but this one is beautiful. Like I said, sweet, maybe a touch powdery, but not too much. So it is sweet, it is strong. It has a bit of perfumey vibe, very beautiful. Unfortunately, this one also didn't have a great longevity on me. The projection was good. It is definitely not a skin scent, but it just didn't last very long on me. So that was the only negative about this one. Next one that I have is called Iris or Iris. I'm not sure. And so this is the last one that I have that centers around the note of iris. And this one is quite different. This one has carrot seed, florals, vetiver, musk, benzoin. And I have to say, this one is my least favorite of the 3. There is something about it that I am not loving. Maybe it's the carrot seed. Maybe it's the vetiver that sort of brings a touch too much of the masculine side to this fragrance. You know, when it's an iris floral type of scent, I sort of expect for it to have more femininity, and to me, there's a bit too much of a masculine vibe. Although overall, I would not call it masculine, but there is something in it that sort of pulls me in that direction. So overall, it's okay, but it's not great. Like I said, this was my least favorite of the 3 iris scents. Next, I have 4 samples from Join the Club collection. This is the collection that comes in blue bottles. And the first one is Ivory Root. Again, I'm not going to spend much time on it here because I've talked about it extensively in my February favorites. All I will say is that this is stunning, magical scent. I absolutely fell in love with it. Can't wait until I find a full bottle of this. This has to be in my collection. It is spicy. It is incredibly sweet. It is so addictive. Just outstanding scent. Outstanding. Notes don't do justice to the scent at all. So Ivory Root is... it gets 2 thumbs up from me for sure. Next one that I have is Fatal Charm, something like that. And this one has powdery notes. It has aldehydes, florals, tobacco, spices. So this one overall is a nice scent. It's just not my cup of tea. It definitely has the powdery notes, definitely mixed with aldehydes. So it sort of has that, I don't know, sparkly touch that I often get from aldehydes mixed with powdery notes. But then you also get a touch of tobacco smoke and definitely some other florals in here. So it is nice. I would say it is a bit more masculine in my opinion, although it comes pretty close to being unisex. But overall, I just didn't find anything interesting in this scent. Next one is Shuncoin. I am sure I'm butchering the name, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it differently. And this one is a really interesting and really difficult to describe scent. So the main notes in here are vanilla, sandalwood, powdery notes, cherry blossom, and tea. And I'm having a really hard time to describe this one. I don't know what to compare it to and what exactly it reminds me of, but it definitely reminds me of something. So when I first spray it, you definitely get that sort of slight sharpness from tea, but it doesn't stay on for long. I would say tea here disappears quite quickly. And I'm sort of left with a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of sandalwood, a little bit of powdery notes. There's also, I feel like there's something else in here. I'm sort of getting a bit of a nutty quality, like if there were almonds in here, or maybe orris fruit or something like that. Or maybe it's the powderiness that makes me think of that. But overall, when you put all of that together, it is a little bit nutty, creamy. It is kind of very smooth. It is a touch powdery, but just a touch. And it's a really, really interesting scent. It's not exactly gourmand, but it's sort of coming close to being gourmand. It is sort of sweet, but it's not exactly sweet. Just a really, really interesting scent. Very interesting scent. I don't know if my explanation made any sense, but I don't think I can explain it any better. And the last one that I have from this collection of Join the Club is 40 Knots. And when I looked at this fragrance, and I did research this fragrance prior to getting this note, I was really interested by it because the notes sounded interesting and I really didn't know what to think of it. So the notes in here are, there are woody notes, there are green notes, salt, and seawater. And that's exactly what it smells like. It is sort of like I'm on some type of big boat maybe fisherman boat even. And I'm somewhere in the middle of a sea. So yes, there sea water is here, like some kind of watery notes are here. It is definitely slightly salty. It is definitely woody. It's like I'm getting the smell of I don't know, floor on this boat. So it's all mixed together. It's a really, really interesting scent. I can definitely appreciate sort of the uniqueness and of this scent and how beautifully it is put together. But at the end of the day, this is not exactly my cup of tea. So I'm definitely not interested in getting a full bottle of this one, but I can appreciate this scent for what it is. I would say it leans slightly more masculine, but not too much so. It comes somewhat close to being unisex. So yeah, very interesting, just not my cup of tea. And so I'm left with 5 more samples that are kind of random from all kinds of different collections. So let's go through them quickly because I don't want this video to get too long. So the first one I have is Alande, I don't know. And this one is pretty simple. It has vanilla, cacao, and magnolia. And this one is definitely very sweet. It is definitely gourmand. Vanilla is very strong here. And I am also getting a citrus in here, like there is a lemon in here. So it kind of reminds me of Lyra. But I would say that this one is sort of a simpler version of Lyra. I think Lyra smells a little more complex, like it has more nuances to this, whereas this one smells simpler and I would say sweeter. Like really, really, you're baking something in the kitchen. The bakery vibe is very, very strong. So it's a beautiful, sweet, gourmand scent that is reminiscent of Lyra, I would say. Not a dupe by any means, but definitely reminiscent. I think because I have Lyra, I definitely don't need this one. And I would say this one, again, is a little bit simpler and maybe a touch too sweet. But overall, beautiful. Next one I have is Cruz del Sur 1. So I have the full bottle of 2, and this is 1. And I will tell you honestly, from all the samples that I have and I have tried in the past, this is the absolute worst, in my opinion. The notes in here are rum, leather, dried fruit, castoreum, spices, incense. So you can tell by the notes, a lot of those I don't get along with. Leather, castoreum, right away is red flag. And it really smells very leathery, very animalic, extremely, extremely masculine. I don't know if any of the other notes are here, probably, but like castoreum and leather just overpower the scent and it's very unpleasant to smell. Definitely not for me, and I would not recommend it for anyone, even for a guy. I would not recommend this scent. It's like they put a ton of these strong notes together and came up with this sort of mishmashy scent where I don't feel like things are even blended well together. This is just my opinion. So yeah, this one is a big no for me. Next one is Dama Rose. And this one has rose, other floral notes, citruses, vanilla, musk, patchouli, woody notes, and this is definitely about rose. Rose is the main player here, but I would say this is an extremely powdery rose. I am getting strong, strong powdery notes together with rose. It has sweetness. It has a touch of musk. Overall, nice, but not for me. I just think the powdery note is too strong here, and I would find this scent maybe a touch mature. So, you know, I qualify for that category, but again, I'm not a huge fan of this scent, but definitely I would not recommend it to anyone young. Like I said, to me, it just has a slightly mature vibe. So this one was Dama Rose. And we have two more. So this one is Lua, I think. And the notes in here are melon, citruses, florals, musk, vanilla, cedar, and patchouli. And yes, it is kind of fruity notes, although fruits are not very sweet here. So there are a lot of citruses here. Definitely patchouli is very strong here. Vanilla, I wouldn't say that it's here. This scent is not sweet at all, and it is slightly woody. So I would say the main players here are citruses, patchouli, and woody notes. That's what I'm getting most of all. Kind of a fresh, citrusy, woody scent. A little bit aromatic, not too much. So nice, but again, not for me. And we're finally down to the last one, which is Muse. And this one has the notes of plum, leather, florals, amber, and patchouli. And leather is definitely present here, but not too much, so it doesn't overpower the scent. I'm definitely getting a plum note in here. There's some kind of sweetness in here. I don't think there's vanilla in here, but I'm definitely smelling something sweet in here. Maybe a bit of amber. This one is really nice actually. Leather is really nice in here. It is just a little bit of leather, not too much. So you have plum, you have some other florals with some kind of sweetness. This one is really nice, really nice. So there you go. I know I went really quickly. I'm sorry about that, but I didn't want this video to be super long. It is already going to be somewhat long. So I just wanted to go through all of the 20 Xerjoff scents that I had and share my opinions about them. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I would love to know, what have you tried from this house, or what are you looking forward to trying from this house? Thank you for watching. I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.